This is EUphoria, the podcast about all things EU LCS. We're your hosts. I'm Drakos. This is Deficio. You may have noticed
there's something changed.
Something has changed.
Different.
It's not a fever dream. YouTube viewers, I promise you, we actually have video right now. And if you're listening on SoundCloud or iTunes, we have video on YouTube if you want to check that out. Otherwise, we're going to do our best to vividly describe everything that happens so that you still get the kind of the full experience here. Whether you're listening or whether you're watching. This is our first episode for the summer season. Our topics of the day are Patch 8.11 and the preseason power rankings for the EU LCS. As well, we're going to have a special guest joining us, Maxlore. He will be here in just a few minutes. But before
He's late, by the way. That's why we have to start without him for now. And also, you might have noticed the set is under construction.
That's true.
It is not 100% ready. We are currently upgrading it so that Reckless will return to the podcast later. It was a demand on his side, camera and a beautiful set. For now, you have to settle for Maxlore. He fills in. He's ready to be here and entertain you soon.
He's going to be here in 2 minutes. You couldn't wait to flame him till he's
Because
actually...
now he can't flame you back. That's important.
That's okay. You're right. You're a defenseless opponent. Fair. Good strategy. So, for those of you who have followed the show up until this point, we want to give you an update on some of the bets. First up is the sumo bet. So yesterday, we had the sumo tournament. Some people performed a little better than others. And we will be making a video showcasing the whole thing, kind of as a promotional piece for EUphoria. And you'll get to see who won.
When?
Released, I believe, early next week or this weekend, depending on how long it takes to edit. We'll keep you guys updated as we get more info. But for now, it's looking like Sunday or Monday. And you'll get to see all of the sumo action, find out who won, who would be crowned the first annual EUphoria Mid-Season Invitational Sumo Invitational Champion.
One spoiler. The person who won destroyed everyone and everything. We'll not reveal anything else, but man, that person was very good.
All right, and then the other thing we have to do is update is the mustache bet, and the lucky thing about us like having a set is I now get to wander around it aimlessly. So those of you who remember, so we had Young Buck and Bwippo come on and do the mustache bet. They bet that if they did not, or if they made top 4,
no, they said they need to make the final.
Make the final. That's what it was. So Fnatic made top 4, but they did not make the final. So they had to grow mustaches. We don't. I'm keeping my beard because I look like a child without it. And
also trying.
Deficio is continuing to try. But we got some update photos from Young Buck and Bwippo.
And they will have to, of course, remove.
They have to shave it down so it's a completely separate mustache. But you can see we got Young Buck is the classic. You can see the little baby face coming in there. And Bwippo, he's got the dirty stash. If you're at home and I'm trying to describe this to you, just imagine a really seedy, unkept mustache. That's what Bwippo's got going on.
I'd say a very young Ron Jeremy. He's breaking into the scene. He's getting his first mustache. It's kind of what we look at. And the funniest part about this is because it's for the start of the season, the players had to come to the studio and do photos, and those photos will basically be the ones we use for the entire split.
So Bwippo has this mustache in every photo for the entirety of the summer split.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, God. All right.
Good bet. Also, while you are, putting it away
back
in our new awesome set here.
Our corner.
Fun fact, and I'm only saying this to brag, it's actually the only reason I'm saying this. We had 3 bets during MSI. We had, of course, a title bet.
Oh, God.
If it was like, will RNG win the final or will Kingston win the final? So for the LCS, obviously, you have to call both me and Frosk with the
Actually, I think
titles.
I'm supposed to do it here, too. I just forgot.
I think it's just for LCS, because otherwise it gets to be a lot if it's also doing the podcast.
Okay, but to clarify, sure you want me to say the title. So this is Martin.
No. Title first.
This is The Moose on the Loose, Martin Deficio Lunga.
There you go. And that's because, of course, I predicted RNG to win the final, unlike other people who just went on a Korean thing, which is so boring and so outdated by now. We had 2 other bets. The mustache one we just showed with Fnatic make the final, and then the sumo one that we talked about earlier where we had to predict where teams would rank in the group stages of the 4 teams you already knew, Fnatic, RNG, Kingzone, and Team Liquid. And only one person actually got some of them right.
And it was you because you sold Fnatic out and put him in 4th place. But look, okay.
And I got RNG first.
We've rambled.
There we go. Just wanted to brag.
Great, fantastic. So we've rambled, I think, enough about the show and the bet updates. I do want to welcome Maxlore. Maxlore, get in here, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
This
the crowd.
So we're figuring this out for the first time.
Yeah.
I think we're
gonna
edit
get a different table
audience
as well.
applause signs. For those of you at home listening on iTunes or SoundCloud, he just dramatically walked in from the side of the set. It was great. Imagine him like flexing and dabbing, because that's pretty much what it looked like.
He's a dabber, not a flexer.
Oh yeah, he's a dabber.
I'm pretty sure. I've seen you dab quite a few times.
Off camera, yeah.
On camera? Never?
Never, I don't think ever on camera.
That's interesting.
Well, okay, so welcome, Maxlore. How you feeling, buddy?
Pretty good. Sorry I'm late. I didn't really
It's okay.
hear what you guys said earlier. I mean, I came in when you were talking about titles. I really like the name of your title. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What would be your title?
The one at Worlds, Maxlore? Or
Was it Maxlore? Did we
Or
ever
was
say
it-
it was?
or was it I can't remember.
The king of the jungle?
I just remembered the
Something
Nuggets
like that.
from Worlds. That's,
we
that was
We don't talk about them.
okay.
We don't talk about Nuggets here.
All right, Maxlore, talk to me a little bit about your off season. It's been a bit since we've seen Misfits. We didn't get to see you guys in playoffs as much. What have you been up to? What's life like?
I mean, off season was mainly just kind of chilling and like checking my health and playing solo queue and watching MSI and maybe crying a little. for myself and for Fnatic's sake, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand the tears, but I think the other big thing that happened that really the audience is going to want to talk about.
My beard.
No, not your beard,
Oh.
Deficio. For once, you're not the center of attention. Maxlore, you grew a magnificent beard, and I want you to talk to me a little bit about it. Why you do that. For the people watching on video, I'm going to grab a before and after picture. For you guys at home, I will vividly describe this before and after picture. And let me talk about, first we have Maxlore on the left.
Spring Split Maxlore.
Spring Spit Maxlore. Serious looking dude, baby face a little bit, maybe he's 17, 16, no one knows.
Rookie jungler.
Rookie jungler.
Trying to perform in the LCS.
We now have Summer Split Beard Maxlore,
Okay.
who just change your name to Daddy and be done with it, dude. You have like ascended. You weren't even in the running for hottest player. Now it's like, who is anyone really even in your way anymore? You have gone like through the roof. So when did you decide to grow the beard? Was this like pure accident, pure happenstance?
Honestly, it's just like I had a bit of an epiphany, and I just saw that exact pose in my dream.
The one you made for the Summer Split photo.
No, that one that you just showed.
Which is the Misfits photo, which you guys can see on your Instagram, I think, right?
That's true. I won't actually. We'll put it after.
We'll put it somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. But yeah, I just decided to grow, and then I went to the barber, and he got it done, and now my barber's just a legend, I guess.
There you go.
I went to the barber as well. He laughed at me. I thought we were going to be three dudes with great beards sitting here for the EUphoria podcast.
Here's the thing.
I'm really trying.
The people on YouTube know that you don't have a great beard, but you could tell people
That's true.
on SoundCloud and iTunes that you have a magnificent beard.
For everyone at home watching, just think about the greatest Viking beard of all time.
If you've played the new God of War,
Yeah, that kind of beard.
that kind of beard. I mean, that's kind of what Maxlore's already got going. Maxlore it's a steadily growing.
Can you stop looking at me that way and like study all my failures?
I mean, it's kind of cute. Like you're just missing out a few, like just like a
Yes.
massive gap between like the hair. Yeah.
Don't listen to this man. If you don't see me, he's lying. Don't believe him.
So before we go into like the serious topics, now Deficio, you had something special.
That's true, because it's a new season. Yes, I want you to try Danish cakes that I bought from the airport, because I only figured it out last minute that I should do this. So
I
really want to.
He's the kind of dad that gets you
try
gifts
this.
from the gas station.
This is called a chocolate or cinnamon swirl. And
Oh
it's like
my
a
goodness.
Danish. Oh wait, you're doing all that health stuff now.
I mean,
Can you not eat cake?
no,
then?
I can.
Give
It's just
him
I
a
see a lot
cake.
of calories there.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's probably not very healthy. I'll give you this one.
Okay,
Triggers,
thank you.
get that one.
All right.
There we go.
Deficio is currently passing out napkins.
Yeah, napkins for everyone. So we either have the white cream or the chocolate, depending on what you're into.
I think I prefer chocolate.
You want the chocolate?
Yeah, I want the chocolate.
Drake, you like the white cream? You get the white cream for yourself.
All right, for those wondering, this looks almost identical to a cinnamon roll.
It is effectively a cinnamon roll.
How do you eat
You
it? It's,
grab the
it's
top
just
one, there's
so
two. Don't
big.
take two, don't be greedy now.
Oh, I thought it was just
Yeah,
one
what
big
would your
thing.
mom say? Jesus. Okay, there you go. Just take one. try it. I won't eat it because I'm not into that unhealthy stuff.
You have to have some.
I'm trying to get a 6-pack here, so I'm gonna save. Actually, I'm gonna get one of these. I'm gonna get the top.
Your willpower is astonishing.
Jesus.
I'm gonna get a 6-pack. Wait, it looks nice. Never mind.
Well, so it's just chocolate, right? There's no like jam in it. It's really shiny.
No, it's chocolate, and then it's. I don't know what else is in it. I'm not a baker.
It's so shiny.
Just eat it.
Okay.
Give it a go.
You brought infamous, historic Danish pastries, and you followed up with, I have no idea what's in it.
Oh, that is tasty.
That
it
is
falls
so
apart. So for everyone at home, this is a mess, by the way. But this is the pride of Denmark, effectively, you're eating now.
It's so good. So why didn't you bake this for your promotional video? You made a sausage instead.
Because, great question.
This is really good.
I'm pretty sure making this is really difficult.
Your cooking skills, man.
But I mean, let's be real.
You were in like a whole chef, like kind of. You even had your name on the apron.
I have it at home now, by the way.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm cooking, I use it. It's not true, but I could have used it.
Do you ever actually cook?
I cook a lot. I'm not like a pro gamer living in a gaming house, never cooking.
I'm saving this. Wait, does anyone want this one?
You can get both. Take it back to the house if you want.
Yeah, I know, but if I put this on,
no, you take it. No, you take it.
I mean,
put it in the box, and I'll take the boxes away, and we can.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to try it? It's like really good.
I'm sure. We've had, because I just had the other one.
We're only doing this to celebrate the new season of EUphoria.
True. And I'm guessing that people are like, guys, we get it. You ate a pastry. Let's talk about real stuff now.
So.
But next bit, can I come on first for celebration as well?
Celebration pastries? Why not?
Maybe we get an American pastry.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
They're all ripped off from your countries anyway.
Oh yeah, you call them a Danish.
Okay, so the first like real topic of the day is patch 8.11, and also I think a little bit patch 8.10 because
a little bit 8.9 as well. It feels like at this point.
So let's talk about the meta in general because all I see right now is like I'm gonna call it anarchy, and I want to know from your perspective, Maxlore, is it? It looks crazy from an outside perspective. Having watched LPL, we watched a little bit of LCK before we came on here. Is it as crazy in scrims as it is in like solo queue and from what little we've seen of LPL?
Wait, in LPL it looks really standard instead of in K. Like
yeah, that wasn't
it looks really standard.
Crazy. They had the Mordekaiser mid lane.
Multiple Mordekaiser.
So
mids.
just if everyone,
Shyvana jungle.
We obviously recording this on a Tuesday right now, so we've only gotten to see LPL Monday, and then we got to see the pick and ban phase for the first LCK game between MVP and BBQ right now, which had the Master Yi Tarek around the mid lane versus Karthus Nunu. And of course, Lulu Fiddlestick bot lane against Gragas Lucian. So if we focus on that pick and ban, is that the kind of crazy shenanigans we're seeing everywhere?
Yes and no. I think sometimes there's some standard games in scrims, and then there's some more interesting, crazy ones that are more fun to play.
So to be clear, just to define standard for 8.11. So standard is still traditional AD carry, traditional support, maybe with some new picks coming in, mid laner, like tank top, jungler, like that's standard.
Mid laner without smite.
Yeah.
Jungler, the only one with smite.
Just want to make sure that we have the same definition of standard at this point. Like we haven't gone through so many crazy changes that it's like, yeah, we have a normal mid laner like Taric, you know?
Yeah. To
funnel farm into our Master Yi.
Has anything then been figured out coming into week 1 of LCS? Or is it still like every team has just a completely different idea of what to pick, what to play, and it's gonna be this huge mess? Or do you think actually teams have come in now, kind of understood the 2 different or 3 different styles you can play?
I think until LCK today, it was pretty random, but maybe after LCK, you know, they show us Louis, then maybe everyone else starts to understand why they do something. Like they can see their map movements and be like, oh, this is why this strategy works really well. And maybe Yi and Karthus are something special, like these carries that shouldn't get fed. Like they were champions designed not to get fed, but because they do, they just 1v9 the game. But I don't know if teams will adapt fast enough for the first week. I think it's just going to be a giant mess.
No, because we do have a bunch of LCK days now before LCS.
That's
starts.
true.
There's like 4 days of LCK.
That's true.
And I'm actually, that's interesting because I think that brings up a good topic about like how quickly teams can adapt if they want to take something from LCK, right? And I think like I'm curious to see how many people look at LCK and how many people just do their own thing. But do you think like if we saw a strategy on Thursday that like Misfits or some other team had like never played before, that they could have it ready by Friday, or like after 1 day of scrims they would be willing to try it on stage if it was like that good?
1 day of scrims, yeah. I've definitely seen a lot of teams in the past been like, we went 2-0 with this yesterday. We should definitely pick it now. And then it either went 0-10 or 10-0 on stage, depending on how well they could actually play it or how smart it was when teams play differently. I think just like today's games, the fact that we have this Master Yi Tarek, which we've seen in solo queue, it's been on Reddit, the pro teams have obviously been practicing it. Seeing it now in the LCK, I assume it's completely destroying everyone because he got 3 kills just before we went live. Kind of confirming, okay, this is legit. It's not just a dumb strategy that doesn't work on stage. I still just want to see what happens when you actually play in the LCS, because we do know a lot of teams are very different in practice, where they play more aggressive in practice, they take more chances. The Master Yi maybe gets 10 kills in the early game because there's more fighting. Then you go on stage, and this guy who plays the Master Yi does not manage to do anything. And I mean, that's just the kind of thing. I think maybe he scales so well, it doesn't matter, but there's going to be some cases where certain comms will not work, I think.
So is this meta, Maxlore, do you think better for, like, is this going to show even more the kind of problems we see with scrims where people are always like, hey, every scrim people play aggressive, they come on stage and they play super safe? Is this a meta where, like, scrims are so ridiculously aggressive that, like, people are going to come on stage and have, like, no idea what they're doing? Because it feels to me like with picks like Master Yi and Tarek, it seems like that problem in scrims where people don't play like they do on stage, they play balls to the wall. So it's even going to be even more relevant because every single pick is crazy and, like, totally about getting individual advantages.
Well, yeah, in some cases you have to be really aggressive, right? But say if you pick it's like basically if you pick Master Yi Tarek and you have like a really good late game comp, then it's like the ball is in the other team's court. They should be the ones playing aggressive. So if you're the one that's playing Master Yi Tarek and you're just playing super aggressive in scrims and getting fed 1v9 because you're insane and aggressive, then it doesn't matter if you go on stage and pussy out basically if you outscale the enemy team, which is the common trend here in Europe.
That's definitely going to be fun to watch. Generally, I think we should actually talk about why we have hit this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the AD carry nerfs that happened where all the base stats went down and the crit items got a little bit harder, more expensive, and then it's hard for AD carries, like crit AD carries, to get to the late game and get 3 items to get the 100% crit rate that they are looking for, because again, the laning phase is just so rough in the early start of the game, which then also kind of gives us a meta where snowballing is super impactful. Like Rift Herald, if you protect it well, actually like does even more damage to turrets. Baron barely deals any damage to you.
Yeah, Baron got
it's like
nerfed.
So easy.
It takes forever to clear, but that thing just does not hurt you. If you have like a single lifesteal item, you're just like, ooh, free solo, no problem.
And this is a lot of ways you can now actually get an early objective and really get a lot from it. I think if you get the first Baron, you most likely at this point should win the game, especially with the current comps. So not only do you have the AD carries who are weaker in the early game because of the changes, you then also have a meta that is more focused on snowballing, making them even more useless. Yeah. And that's why we probably won't see crit AD carries realistically, and that's why you can play a lot of different stuff also. Because if you have a Master Yi Tarek, all the attention of the enemy team is going there, which means that you can kind of go crazy everywhere else as well.
The follow-up then for me is like, if you're agreeing with this concept that like first Baron can very usually end the game, like are we expecting like super quick games in LCS? Like is it pretty much going to be decided by like a single team fight or a single Baron fight? Because you remember last split, it was like late game. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, you only have your second Baron, sir. You're gonna need a third before you can end this game. Like, so do you think Maxlore? Do you think it is like? We know that like scrims are usually much faster than stage games, but do you think when it comes to playing LCS on stage this season, we're going to see, much shorter game times than we did last season?
I think the overall, like the average game time of the split, if the patch stays kind of the same, is going to be shorter. But I think maybe at the beginning people want to get comfortable on stage, and so they'll play a lot slower than they would in scrims.
For sure. I wonder with the stuff we talked about before of like why this patch is now the way it is. Do you have anything you want to add specifically from your point of view as a jungler, where you're like with the Rift Scuttle change or the jungle camps?
I mean, the Scuttle Crab change is kind of obvious when it comes to this kind of strategy to do the like AFK farm mid laner with a support. Also, supports just being generally overpowered, like these champions that need 0 gold to be completely, like, to impact the whole game. Like, I don't know what's up with that, but I guess we are going to have like 5 supports every game.
and Tarek.
Yeah,
what's so funny is like we buffed them for so many years, right, as buff supports. So we want to give you a little bit more gold, we want to give you a little more items, we want to make sure that like no matter what happens, that you're going to be okay as a support, that you can feel impactful. And now this is like, after years of buffing support, like, you don't have to buy green wards and a rejuve bead at the start of every game. Now 3 years later, you're like, you want 4 supports on your team to Master Yi.
But is Master Yi the problem, or is it the supports?
It's definitely not Master Yi, because like, if you play standard with Master Yi, this champ's going to be useless, right? But yeah, it's the Scuttle Crab changes along with this supports just being generally overpowered for a long time.
It is interesting though, because like Braum, like what do you nerf specifically on Braum? Is it the CC duration? Is it his early damage or what? Like if you nerf his early damage, his laning phase, like what is he ever going to do?
Remove the champion, honestly.
You can't, there you go. You just, cause like,
that's such a pro player mentality, by the way. It's like, I hate
here.
him, remove him from the game.
Like Braum is literally perfect if you have like these dueling skirmish picks that just want to fight in the early game, and you can have a low-level Braum who's level 1 and can Q you in the face. And it's like, oh, there's his passive. Oh, you're stunned now. And Master Yi's just like, and then like that's a kill, you know? There's nothing you can do suddenly.
I do love, like, Braum, playing against Braum as any kind of character with mobility is the worst feeling in the world, because he hits you once and you're like, I can no longer outplay the situation. I will become stunned at some point.
It's true, though.
So you brought the Scuttle changes, like 8-10 was a huge change for the jungle. So before everything got really crazy and we started seeing Master Yi, what were your thoughts on like the 8-10 jungle, right? Where it's like the super Scuttle Crab focused. So before it became like super, super crazy, what did you think of the jungle changes overall?
I think they were fine they were going to be fine in competitive. It's just in solo queue it's a lot harder because you are more reliant on your team in solo queue and maybe like your mid laner has priority, but he doesn't know what to do with it and he doesn't come first towards like, there are many situations where I went to the crab and my mid had priority and for some reason he was like hugging the other side of the lane and enemy mid lane just came first and I died. And then enemy jungler got 2 Scuttle Crabs and invaded me and I'm just like, well, you guys have to carry me now. I'm probably useless for 10 minutes.
It does feel like, from my experience, just like playing solo queue, it does feel like you can snowball really hard in this jungle meta if you get like 1 or 2 extra Scuttle Crabs, and like the second you have a lead, it feels, I don't know, to me, even easier to like invade and to punish. Maybe it's just with the champions prevalent as well. What is your
Kayn?
No, yeah. Actually, it's Echo or Talia now. I've given up the one-trick life. Kayn is too boring. He just farms.
That's not good.
But I mean, what was your
question?
What was your impression? So I feel like it's easier. It felt easier to me to snowball in this meta. Like once you have an extra Scuttle Crab, it felt easier to like sustain a level lead. Did you think it's easier or harder to snowball in the new jungle and like maintain an advantage?
I think in terms of like being ahead of the enemy jungler, it's easy to snowball. The first crab spawn, not the 2 crabs that spawn at the start.
The initial one.
The first respawn.
Yeah, the first respawn, that's like the most OP game deciding crab, in my opinion, in terms of jungle versus jungle, who will out-level who. But if you focus so much on crabs, then the enemy jungler will probably just like, can look to gank and get a lane snowballing. So there is like counterplay towards like having 3 lanes of push and jungler going for crab, but it's just a bit hard. This
does set up something I've seen a lot from other pro players who are not junglers. They like to tweet better jungler wins. It's a big thing going on, you know, if my jungler gets the risk Scuttler and the enemy jungler does not, my jungler is therefore better and he takes over the game or he succeeds with the game.
What's so great is 2 patches ago was better bot lane wins.
Sure, now it's better jungler wins. So I want to ask a professional jungler, is it better jungler wins or is it better laner wins?
In solo queue?
Yes. Is better mid laner, better a bot lane?
Okay, if I'm playing against another pro jungler, then the game is not in my hands, unless if he messes up a lot, right? It's mainly in my bot lane's hands.
Oh, the bot lane again.
Or mid lane. Because I don't know, man, like bot lanes are crazy. Like whenever I play against my bot lane in solo queue, they're just killing the enemy bot lane 2v2 and stopping me taking crab. And if I don't gank them, the game's just over. They're just 10 on Kalista or something. And I'm just sitting here, you know, with whatever I'm playing, and
it
I
is
can't
kind
do
of the
anything.
ultimate feels
So it's
bad
not
man
better
moment.
jungler wins.
Well, as a jungler, right? Because like it used to be like when a lane won, right? You could at least hide in your own jungle and be safe. But now there's so much money and experience in this stupid Scuttle Crab that you like have to go into the river to try to like stay even in the game. Oh yeah, and you look at that Callista walking up, or that like what Aurelia, the Pyke, the Vladimir, whatever the hell is coming out of that bot lane. That does not sound like a good experience.
It's just unfair when like you're against like a really good bot lane in solo queue, and your bot lane is like 2 autofills, and there's really nothing you can do. Like if you level 2 gank and it doesn't work, the game's over, and you just have to accept that. That's why I don't OPGG at the start of my games, because I don't like knowing my fate.
Right,
Yeah,
right. You can say already from the get-go.
Yeah, like
so it's interesting though, because I'm coming for you right now.
Yeah.
Soon I'll be in your games.
Yeah.
And you will know that your bot lane will 100% lose against me.
okay.
Because my Zyra is like,
Holy.
you literally can't lose
my God.
with my Zyra.
Dirty Zyra.
Did we make a bet about you making it to Diamond 1 and you didn't manage to do that?
No. We said before 2019.
No, we didn't.
I'm
We
pretty
said-
sure that's
no,
what we said.
no,
Drake,
no,
you
no,
probably
no.
I was not here.
I'm pretty sure
I wasn't
he was
there,
not
but I heard about this
I am-
Diamond 1
I'm
bet.
on my way.
I heard it was
yes.
like Maxlore has to get to top of Challenger, or you have to get to Diamond 1.
No, it was just
It
Diamond
was
1
actually
for
just
him.
me, because he was making fun of me, and I said I could literally just one trick something and make it back, and he was like, "No, you can't." I didn't have time.
He was doing with pros, by the way, to get to Diamond 1, and he still
That's
couldn't
not
do
true
it.
at all.
He still couldn't do
That
it.
was like for 2 days.
Yeah. Then
2 days.
did he just leave you? Like,
Left me by. I'm so tired of this.
He goes like, "Look, the backpack's not big enough to fish. I'm sorry."
So back then, I was a noob. I was dumb. I thought, I should play AD carry. I need to play different kind of AD carries in case I get banned out. I need to play multiple things. But I've learned now, in solo queue, that's so irrelevant. Just play 1 or 2 champions. Ideally, just one champion that you're really good at. And hopefully a champion doesn't get banned very often. Zyra, in this case, really works. No one queues up as a support, so I get support every game. I pick it every game. I type to my team, I'm like, first pick it, please. And then I get it, I win every lane, carry every team fight. I am currently with like 92% win rate or something on it.
So are you Diamond 1 yet?
Soon.
You're playing in Bronze Elo, or what's
Okay,
going
wait.
on?
Let's just.
Elo is irrelevant for now.
This is
the point
great.
is I'm
This is
winning.
great. So
and I'll get to you,
Okay.
and I will destroy your bot lane over
Okay.
time and take your risk, Scuttle.
Cool, mate.
Here's the special, and for you watching on YouTube, we're gonna give a little hand motion to signify Deficio's speech. There is anything of substance here, or are you just here to brag about your solo queue?
I was gonna lead
Should we
it
look
into
up your
something.
OPG? Okay.
We can look it up.
Okay,
it's great.
So you're gonna lead it into something. Did you plan to do that today? Were you gonna give me an
Yes.
hour-long sermon about cyber support?
I'm getting there now. I'm gonna lead into the fact that I see a lot of people complain about all the changes that's happened. People are saying it's a mess, you can't play the game anymore because AD carries are weaker, blah, blah, blah.
Why do we need to talk about your cyber at all?
It's coming.
It doesn't even tie in.
It does now if you didn't interrupt me. In all my games of winning as Zyra, I've obviously seen a lot of different comps now, a lot of different solo queue games. And in only one game, did we have like what I considered a weird composition. So we had a Syndra to carry. That was it. Every other game has been traditional comps. And this is Plat Elo, right?
Okay.
Started Plat 5.
That's what I thought.
We got to Plat 1. I played, I don't know how many games the last week. And I kept reading from the community how, no, it's unplayable, like it's a mess everywhere. I'm like, where? In solo queue, you can play anything still. Like, can you in high elo solo queue still pick anything and actually do well if you're good at it? Or are you just locked, like you have to just play 2 or 3 champions?
I mean, you can play whatever you want. It's just you shouldn't intentionally feed on it.
No, you have to be good at, obviously, whatever it is you're playing.
Yeah.
But I don't understand this outrage towards these changes that's happened for solo queue players, because this does not impact like 98% of our player base. And I know that from playing all these games where I'm like, why are people being mad about this? This is like pretty cool. Everyone is playing different stuff. No one is like just hard-inting bot lane.
See, the thing is it doesn't bother me at all because the games where I get like smashed by some bruiser in the bot lane, I'm like, well, this guy was probably better than me anyway and would have smashed me on that bruiser on an 80 carry too, right? Like he's clearly just mechanically better than me. And the games where people pick stuff like Talia jungle and have no idea how to play it, I just get to invade and kill a Talia 8 times in a game. So for me, you guys want to keep playing like weird stuff on high ELO streams, and scrubs want to try it out. I'll enjoy the free low down here in the trash ELO.
Easy.
Like it's a good time for me.
I just wonder what's going to change now when LCS comes around and LCK. If it's now people are going to see, oh, they're playing Wukong bot lane, so now Wukong is going to start really being played a lot. Then maybe I can understand if it gets really annoying if you are only if you're only a Xayah and Jhin player and then you get the enemy picking like bruisers against you and just wrecking you in lane. Fair enough, I can understand then you find it annoying. But up until that point, for the last like week, I think in the vast majority of games, very normal comps has also been played very often. And it feels like every champion is still viable if you're just very good at it. I can't think of one champion that is so useless, even if you're one trick, that you can't actually do well on it.
Garen.
He's actually better. He got buffed, baby.
Did you intentionally pick a champion that he likes to play?
I
you didn't know.
I played against some Garens.
He also loves
Yeah,
Yorick, so
pretty
please
good.
don't bring up Yorick.
Yorick is
either.
getting buffs now. Okay, Yorick is pretty weak. Maybe Yorick.
And Zyra's also busted.
See,
so.
I got there in the end saying all my games climbing as Zyra.
I'm so proud of you.
I have noticed that the game is really fun, and I don't understand why everyone who is not scrimming as a pro player is whining.
So we have a little bit of time left. I want to round this out by asking Maxlore a few super quick questions. One, okay, so for those of you who watch listening on iTunes SoundCloud, there's a fly literally hitting Maxlore in the face repeatedly. I don't know if you guys can see it on if you're watching on YouTube.
It just wants me.
But you're trying so hard to be professional about it, and I respect that.
You
He
just
was over
smell
here
like
a
shit,
second
though.
ago. What?
Just can't-
Anyway,
can't
who's the
handle
better
it.
Talia, you or Senkux?
Right now?
Right now.
Honestly, like, actually, I'm pretty bad on Talia. I don't think. Actually,
Team should leave it open, is what you're saying.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, this isn't.
Winking to the camera,
This
by
is
the way.
broadcasted after LCS, right?
No, right before.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, like honestly, my Talia is like
Ooh,
kind
trash.
of. I think I've played like 2 games on it in solo queue, like 50% win rate.
Oh, really bad.
It's 50-50 on stage as well, I guess.
Yeah, tough.
So she's perm banned on stage anyway, so
Yeah.
that's kind of irrelevant.
All right, then the last one is how does it feel playing? I don't know if you've had any Master Yi games, but like, do you dream of being the guy who gets to have 4 supports as a master, whatever pick is super powerful, and like get to run through and solo carry every game? Does that sound fun to you?
I don't need to dream it. It's just the reality.
There you go.
Are you nervous at all?
What do you mean?
Everyone is going to be looking at Maxlore if that's the composition.
You get that Master
And
Yi
if
in your hands.
Misfits fail,
Yeah.
no one is blaming the Lulu in the bot lane.
Yeah.
No one is blaming the Taric in the mid lane.
You gotta understand, we've been flaming Yis in solo queue for years.
There is
People
only
are ready
one
to flame the
person.
Yi, dude.
No, but the thing is, I need to be like every Yi out there. I need to either straight run it down or I need to carry the game alone, and that's the mindset I'm going for. There's no pressure because I know that if I
I'm
run
either
it
gonna
down,
straight run it down.
it's just meant to be, right? Like it's not in my hands.
I've
It's just
suggested
fate.
to Riot that if we get one of these Master Yi comps, we need to pause the game at the start, switch out the chair the jungler is sitting in, and actually give him like a throne, a real throne on. So the crowd needs to see who's the king of this team comp. And then this guy, if he fails, again, we can all laugh at him, probably throw stuff at him.
I actually played Master Yi in LCS once, and I had 7 kills.
Did you know?
Yeah, I had
It
7
was a
kills.
troll game though, right?
Yeah, but I was incredibly elo held. My KL could not press R.
Oh, was that EUphoria?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, that
I
was
remember
the cheese game where they did the
KO.
old boosting strat, the
I
Chinese
think I
boosting
remember
strat.
that.
Like, I don't know, I was trying to micromanage everyone, but like, it just was not enough.
Maybe your build was garbage.
No, my build was superb. I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
while you look that up, we can take a chance, round out our meta discussion here. The thing I want to do before we go into our next serious discussion, I want to take a little break. I want to take a little lighthearted topic. So for the next few minutes, I want to play a game called Would You Rather. Very simple. I'm going to ask a question, would you rather X or Y? And you're going to tell me. Deficio, I'd love for you to participate too. And stop looking for the Master Yi build.
He actually,
What did I build?
he did go Rageblade.
Yeah, of course.
he
This
built-
is
he built
Fervor
this
of
fine.
Battle era.
It was. EUphoria went 0-6 on Kale.
My bot died 2v2, by the way.
They were Kled Callista.
Yeah, but they still died 2v2 to, who was it?
Raven.
Betsy and Pride. It doesn't, the champs don't matter. It was Betsy and Pride. I couldn't believe it.
All right, you did try to carry. I give you that one.
I respect it. Time for Would You Rather. So, first up, we'll start with Maxlore. Would you rather play only tanks in the jungle forever, or play whatever you want, but your mid laner gets every Scuttle Crab?
Whatever I want.
And your mid laner gets every Scuttle Crab? You'll be like perma under-leveled for your entire
No,
career?
if he takes my Scuttle, I take his mid wave. I do that in solo queue as well.
So you trade.
Trade, steal, blackmail, whatever you want to call it.
I would actually also pick that one, because imagine playing only tank junglers. You lose every Scuttle Crab anyway. Like, what are you going to do?
It's Sejuani.
Doesn't master you running at you with a Taric behind him and you're Sejuani. Like, who cares?
I just tried to pick like the most boring role I could think of for junglers. Was it tank junglers? I was also just debating saying Ivern.
It was Rek'Sai Gragas for 2 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was...
So let's change it. Would you rather play Rek'Sai Gragas forever or play whatever you want, but your mid laner gets every
I
Scuttle Crab?
already said, no matter what, it's going to be whatever I want.
All right, next up. You can be the greatest League of Legends player in the world, but you can only play 3 champions, or you can be an average pro player that can play anything. Very similar to the first one.
Is that like my ability or like how people see me?
Your ability. You'd be like the greatest. You'd be like, let's say, who's like the greatest mechanical player right now?
Uzi at MSI.
Yeah, like Uzi at MSI level.
only play 3 champions.
But you can only play 3 champions for your entire forever. Like,
Forever.
Like those are the only champions you're good at. You could pick another champion, but you suck at it.
Oh, you want to be able to play anything.
Well,
But be average forever.
Like now.
Oh God, like dick.
I don't know what you're talking. You're just still play Elo. Like,
What would you pick? What would you pick?
I'm one in like a week.
Let Maxlore think about it. Why does this always have to be about your solo queue?
Because he pointed it out.
All right.
you just got triggered.
What would you
easily.
pick, Deficio? Would you rather be like the god of 3 champions or just average pro?
I
for
would
Infinity?
want to be the greatest on just 3 champions, because then I could always blame the meta when I didn't carry. But when those 3 things, or 2 of them, were in the meta, I would look so good, at least in some games.
But
if you're average, no one will ever notice you. You're just there. You're probably the first guy to get benched.
But what if you get banned out? That's what I'm thinking about. Like, there's 3
But
bans.
then I can
that's the thing,
always
is I
just
think-
blame everyone else. I can blame my team for not drawing in bans on their own. Like, if the enemy team can just ban me 3 bans every time, and my mid laner or top laner can't carry, I can blame them.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So
I'll go with 3 champions.
Okay, here's the follow-up. Which 3 champions would you pick? You can pick anything?
I guess to be the greatest, you probably have to be a mid laner or AD carry.
I mean, you'd be the greatest at whatever it is. You can make it up. You could be like the greatest, I don't know, Master Yi. You could be the greatest, what's like the least mechanical character? Garen.
What you could do is you could play top lane, and these 3 champions can be like 3 random carries, and then when they get banned out, you pick tank and blame your team.
That's actually really smart.
That's actually true.
So I'm
That's pretty good.
I'm definitely taking, what am I taking? I'm taking Fiora up there.
It's not niche enough.
Okay,
You
fine.
need some
Like
niche.
Kled. You need some really...
Yorick.
Okay, all right. The greatest Yorick of all time.
And I take Kale top lane.
Fiora, Yorick, Kale. What would you take?
Top lane, yeah.
I mean, or you can pick. You can go mid if you want.
Top lane.
Sure.
Blitzcrank.
Got it.
How useful is the greatest blitzcrank in the world?
Hey, a man that can make Blitzcrank top work and carry every game
That's fair.
is a good man.
And also, like, don't play. He's the greatest Blitzcrank top
that's
of all
true.
time.
You are the
don't know what it
greatest
looks
one.
like because you've never seen it, Martin. You can't even
Exactly.
imagine it.
Carry on.
Okay. The second one will have to be Twitch.
Blitzcrank, Twitch.
I do like some Twitch.
Do you need something with like a lot
That's
of combos
niche.
as
See,
well?
that's niche.
Yeah, I like the Twitch one.
No, you just pick Twitch and you insta-win the game because you're just so good at
you're
like
Twitch.
those stealthy missions.
Yes.
And the third one would have to be
Garen.
can't be Garen. Aatrox.
Yeah,
There
that's
you
a good
go.
one.
That's
a
a European special
Yeah.
right there. Shout out to
Yeah.
you for that.
Oh, it's coming back, baby.
Oh.
It's here already.
I love it.
I
See,
love it.
Oh, sorry, Riven. Not
Riven?
EUphoria.
Yeah, I thought about
just
Riven as
Ultimate
well.
B,
Yeah,
Ultimate
I thought
B.
about
So-
Riven as well.
So this is my dream is that someday this comes to fruition and we see like we could say we predicted this like 10 years from now. There's some prodigy player and we go to a pro
Blitzcrank,
game
Twitch.
and the first 3 bands are Blitzcrank, Twitch, Riven. We'll be like, it's the second coming of Maxlore. It was foretold.
I like that question. That was good.
All right, well that's pretty much it. I want to ask one last totally BS question. Maxlore, who do you like better, Drakos or Deficio? Quick fire round.
In what way? Actually, in what way? Like, in what way?
I'll let you
What
take
way
this
do
however
you
you
need?
want, darling. Put you on the spot.
Looks,
I don't know, you're a
friendship,
bit too low elo for me. Like, the thing is, his elo, no, excuse me, his elo to me is mysterious. I don't know his elo. I like that mystery, but you, now that I know your elo, it's just, you're just trash.
Don't tell him my elo. You're gonna ruin everything.
You're just trash. I like the yeah.
Fine. No one knows what elo this man is. But
it really.
you have to assume that I will be Diamond 1 within like a week of playing because I have 92% win rate.
But you're gonna let me down again, Deficio. Like, I've had my faith in you last year. You had a whole year
I thought
to
we'd
get
be
to
in
Diamond
2019.
1.
I misheard.
I thought we were gonna be together like forever. As soon as you're Diamond 1, we just go for that duo queue adventure, that smooth ride to rank 1 and 2. But
It's gonna happen, by the way.
you really hurt my feelings. I don't know if I could trust you again.
What
I'm
elo
sorry.
are you now?
I'm challenger, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Because last year you were Master Diamond 2 or something.
I mean, in China, I was the highest elo on my team.
That didn't answer the question. Because you were hovering
You're
around.
diverting, by the way, the question. You're trying to
No, 'cause I'm
avoid the
trying to
ultimate
figure out
answer,
where
which is me.
I will get to the point that we can do a queue.
Okay.
But then you have to pick me now. Yeah, I got something to offer you.
What have you got to offer me, Daniel Drakos?
Eternal love, support.
But it's with Drake.
Friendship.
It's like, do you really need that?
We can rub beards sometimes.
I don't need that Disney
We can
shit.
also rub beards sometime.
He's not ever going to give you elo. I was trying to end this, but now I'm wrapped in. I'm sucked in. He's never going to give you elo.
I just gave you cake.
How many times has he failed you? He promised you
you
Diamond
know what?
1.
I can't let fate decide. Both of you do rock, paper, scissors right now.
All right, if you're...
No one at home can hear this.
No, I mean, but we can announce
So on 3.
So
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
Like the 3 is the...
rock, paper, shoot.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. There we go. I won. Got the paper. You
Daniel's
picked
my
the
man.
rock.
I picked Daniel.
You picked the loser?
No, because now next time he's gonna be lucky. It's karma.
All right. That was
I will get Diamond
the
1 and take
longest
your
quick fire question
and
of
your
all
Rift
time.
Scuttler. I will take them Scuttles.
Yeah, good luck, mate.
So the next order of business is the EU LCS preseason power ranking. We did one of these last season. Well, I kind of tried to produce it myself, and it was awful.
Yeah, so that's actually really funny. You guys should totally go to, what is your YouTube channel?
I think it's just Daniel Drakos.
Daniel Drager's YouTube channel.
Right.
There is our, probably the latest video there is actually our
Yeah, I haven't done a
preseason
video since, for
ever
sure.
since. We're sitting in his old apartment. He puts up the camera. It's Vedius, you and me. And it turns out that the camera shot is like 40% us, 60% the rest of his giant white wall behind him. And he kept going back looking at the camera and he never noticed and changed it. So like the camera shot is like the worst I've ever seen.
The audio is also completely crap because I set it up wrong. And to be fair, another thing that happened was I also went to the Misfits house before I did this and tried to do an interview with Maxlore where I also botched the audio.
Did you?
Yeah, so this is a trend, and luckily now I produce nothing. I have no influence. And so the fact that everything is improved is definitely not from me, it's from the rest of our lovely crew. But to help us with the preseason power ranking, we have some visual aids for anyone watching on YouTube.
Yes.
I'm gonna grab them now. If you're watching from home, I have what is essentially a bunch of magnets and a giant whiteboard to help guide the discussion, but I'll be sure to update verbally, I don't know what the right word is, as we go to help build this tier list. Now we've decided S through D.
He has the team's Maxlore.
No, I'm just really...
S through D.
The design of this is really good.
Yes, it's very expensive.
Really surprised.
Very
Yes.
expensive.
Was it handmade?
Yes.
Hand cut out piece of whiteboard, dude.
Jesus.
Probably cost at least 30,000 euros.
We had one of our lovely video people write S through D on the side of the board because me and Deficio both have horrible handwriting.
Yes.
I'm glad there wasn't a letter missed out, you know.
So I'd like to make a bold statement just to start this discussion off. Fnatic, probably S tier.
Prove us wrong here, Maxlore.
Yeah, does anyone have any argument? And the thing is, I know people want more than that because we frequently just go, okay, clearly the best.
So we starting top down.
I think we just jump around.
Okay. Fnatic will get S tier. They looked very good last split. And let's be real, no European team ended up really posing that much of a challenge in playoffs against them.
In playoffs, yeah.
In playoffs,
Yeah.
there was one team that got 2-0 against Fnatic in the regular season.
Which hilariously meant nothing because all their tiebreakers were against the other team.
Yes, that is true. So Misfits obviously didn't get anything. But why do you think Fnatic currently are S tier?
Well, I think that seeing like Brox at MSI was a lot better than the regular split. I think he played tremendously well. And if he can keep up that performance coming into this split, then he'll be one of the best junglers for sure. And I think Reckless will continue smurfing in the EU LCS because I don't think he like sees anyone else as a threat, and he should play really good, like standard Reckless, we all know. And the rest of the team is pretty solid, so.
Yeah, the Caps guy in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I didn't mention Caps because he's always like I always rate him really highly. So like nothing changed.
I mean, there's so much hype on Caps now.
Yeah, specifically.
Like coming into the split, it was Reckless. It was like a lot about him. Now, after MSI, where Reckless didn't have the best performance, shouldn't matter for EU LCS specifically, but Caps, like every single game, just like went off and was like insane.
It's great because Caps is at that post-MSI fandom level, at least for Europeans, I think, where like Fnatic could have subbed 3 players, and I think most European fans would still put Fnatic as like a #1 team if they kept Caps, right? Like, Caps will just carry every game. It'll be all Caps all the time.
The one thing I don't want to see, though, week 1, is Caps on like Taric. You know, like, if they're doing Taric Master Yi, I'm sorry, Broxer, you're now the Taric. Caps is the Master Yi. That's what I want to see.
Based on the solo queue, Caps is the alpha male of that relationship.
Good. That's important. If we do get support mid laners, not for Caps.
I think it's just at this point pretty clear that from what we've seen, at least in the previous split, it would be unfair to put Fnatic anywhere other than S tier. Just because they've been the best performing team, they haven't changed anything. It's not like summer where like maybe you could argue Hylissang was a question mark. Everything is the same. Whippo, potentially the only weak point that we could argue, but even he wasn't a liability. Yes, he wasn't the best player, but they've proven that they can win with him. They won all of playoffs with him, so there's really no reason I can think of why they wouldn't be able to win in regular season.
Maxwell, what do you think about the whole Whippo versus SOAS right now? Like, do you think there's a huge difference between who they're using, or do they just have 2 top laners that are both going to be great?
I don't know. I mean, if I ask my top laner, he would say that they're almost the same, very similar. Maybe, you know, slide in a comment about, you know, how good he is and how bad they are. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He's a humble.
We've had him on the podcast.
Alfari is a humble man.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
He definitely thinks that he has a lot to improve on, etc., etc. I don't have much to comment on the Whippo SOAS factor.
Okay. That's fair. So I think with Fnatic safely in S tier, we have some choices. We can go bottom up, or I can just start listing teams. We can figure out where to place them.
I mean, I think the biggest question right next to Fnatic is, do we put anyone else S tier? I don't think so.
I'd argue no. Not because the thing is I haven't been in scrims, but I haven't seen anything that would make me think that there is anyone in Europe right now who can contest Fnatic.
I mean, one-on-one, like.
That's the thing is you can tell me that Misfits can beat Fnatic, but Misfits hasn't proven that they can beat the rest of the table, so I can't put Misfits in that S tier.
But how about we put us like S and like C or D at the same time?
So S versus Fnatic,
no, just
C and D versus the rest.
Yeah, or like S versus Fnatic and sometimes other teams. Okay. Sometimes we don't really know when, but it happens. And then like D or C versus like.
Should we?
I guess just split
Misfits
team.
Split Misfits in half and just like spread out.
I'm not going to split Misfits in half. Someone painstakingly laminated this.
How about instead of a D, you put like Joker?
Misfits.
Yeah, like
Maxlore, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah, wild card.
We have an S, an A, a B, a C, and a D. You have to pick one. We can't split it. We can't make a new category.
They're not going in S.
I agree.
That's kind of rude.
Why don't we start with Maxlore and ask Maxlore, where do you think Misfits go right now?
At the start of the split.
At the start of the split.
A.
You're that confident?
You're that...
Yeah.
I put these guys S tier coming into the season.
For sure.
In spring.
How'd that work out for you?
It didn't work out at all. I kept saying, wait, just give them more time, they'll figure it out. I actually want to ask before we replace Misfits, like, seriously.
Yeah.
Why do you think last split was such an issue? Because that's something a lot of people have been asking about, seeing as you guys went to Worlds, did well, you made changes, said it was side grades, kept the coaching staff, and yet this Misfits team did not make playoffs.
I think pretty much everything that could possibly go wrong, well, most things that could possibly go wrong within a team outside of Orc things went wrong. Apart, like, it wasn't like super negative or anything, it was just like expectations, pressure and all that, it just wasn't met, and consistency as well, which we are working on now with Jessis and with the upgrade and stuff, etc., etc. So yeah, last split was a bit of a shambles, yeah.
So for me, A seems a bit generous given that you guys missed playoffs. Now, the only reason I was going to say C, and then I moved you up to B, because I think that the history of success, the caliber of players that you're on your team, make me assume that you guys have improved from spring, for sure, right? But I find it hard to believe that it went from dumpster fire, everything that can go wrong could go wrong, right? This proof of Murphy's Law, to like great in a single off season. Do you really feel like it's all fixed and you guys are going to step on stage and just be A right out the gate, just like hitting home wins, taking on everybody but Fnatic, or maybe Fnatic but like dropping one game to like G2 here and there?
No clue, because I don't know the progress of other teams. I think for playoffs for sure we'll be an S tier team, but honestly, I'd prefer if you put us at D, because then like it's like
no
low
pressure.
expectations.
I think
really
give them
low
B
expectations.
for now.
Give them B?
No, like put it down.
No. You start in B, we can always move you
This is why we get
after.
Misfits out of the way first,
Yes.
is so
Okay.
we can just talk honestly about other teams. I know it's
Now,
hard to rate yourself.
there's a team I want to put in D tier. It's Giants.
So as a recap so far,
how-
Fnatic in S, Misfits in B. You want to put a team in D tier, and it's Giants. Give me the reason.
I think so they made one change, obviously,
Yep.
from the starting lineup. Takamas is not there, so Nuxalot is on the team instead. I think Giants come into last split, surprised us the first few weeks when it was a late game meta, and they obviously played late game comms, and they actually executed them very well. The moment we stepped away from that, they won only 2 games and lost like 10 towards the last 5-6 weeks of the season, and looked like the clear-cut worst team in the EU LCS. I don't think that will change too much. So if we are going to put a team in D tier, to me they're the only ones. If we actually feel like no team is D tier, then I'm okay putting them one above. But I don't see any team that's under Giants in a preseason power ranking.
I mean, do you think there's anyone on? Because the thing is, Giants also did win a lot of games start split. They have new coaching. They have a new support. Like, I agree that I don't think prospects are good for Giants at the moment. Like, I don't see, because the thing for me was that Joko was pretty solid, but Betsy and Steelback were woefully inconsistent. I would say that, like,
I think Betsy and late game carries, like Azir, looked good.
Yep.
But when that kind of went out of the meta, it was hard for him to carry games.
For sure. And it just felt to me like 80% of the games they were performing slightly below the carries they were up against, and then 20%, maybe 10% of the games that they played, they were actually besting their opponents. And so it's hard for me to put them like in a really good spot.
I'm thinking Unicorns of Love and Giants might fit together. What do you think, Maxlore?
I think Unicorns. The thing is, both like the Giants even in the lower tier teams, the junglers aren't like bad. You know, they're not like straight up bad. So it's harder for me to rank these teams. Maybe I think between Giants and Unicorns, it's like the difference in mid laner. Whichever mid laner is, I think Exile, it's like consistency. Betsy, I don't know what his issues are. But yeah, they probably both deserve to be C or D tier for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think, can we agree then? I think that Giants are the clear D tier at this point.
I think putting Unicorns next to them is pretty fair.
All right, I'm gonna slap them both on.
Like, I think Unicorns actually did. We said this last split.
They were the best.
They were the best, like 10th place
team,
team
for
we've
sure.
seen in the EU LCS in a long time. But they still didn't get the wins towards the end. There were always late game issues for them, or Exile would have a bad game and everything would fall apart. Samex only towards the end actually became a carry they could rely on. And he didn't reach the same highs he did the year before. I don't have anything right now in this current meta that tells me that Samox is going to shine. If he's playing Lulu in the bot lane, like they're not going to rely on him, then it's going to be a lot more about mid jungle suddenly, depending on how teams are going to play.
I do feel like someone's going to bring this up at some point, so I'm just going to ask, in a meta that is so crazy, are the Unicorns of Love not advantaged? I know that feels more like a meme than any kind of legitimate analysis, but I think people will ask, right? In a meta that is about crazy picks, a lot, I think, about innovation at this point where no one's 100% figured out patch 8.11. Do you think the Unicorns have an advantage?
Let me ask like this. Xerxes, was he an innovator?
Yeah.
Trashy, cold innovator?
No, not as much, that's fair.
Not as much. White Knight versus Chachi, in terms of unique picks, being crazy.
No, yeah, okay.
I go Chachi personally.
Yeah, for sure. Hillisang as well, I think is the
Hillisang was another one.
I mean, and we don't know. Maybe Totoro can be an innovator. Exile has always been a little off meta in terms of what he liked to pick.
They're definitely going to try something. I just think it's hard for me to put them above Giants based on the entire split, even though I think there's a higher chance they end above them than Giants.
But coming in, I mean, it's just, there's no evidence to support Unicorns of Love suddenly taking off.
What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah. So we have a couple teams left. We have yet to place Schalke, Splice, H2K, Vitality, G2, and Roccat as an update. And we'll keep checking in on the tier list as we fill out more. But S tier, Fnatic, B tier, Misfits, and then D tier is Giants and Unicorns. So I think I'd like to go to G2 next, just to go back to the top of the table since we're jumping around anyway. Came in second. I think G2 pretty disappointed. I think they had super high expectations, but they're still second in the split. Mm-hmm. Still able to, take down Splice to make it to the finals. Where do we see G2 right now coming into the split as a team?
I'm putting them A tier. I think if the meta stays the way it is now, where you're gonna have a lot of like mid jungle crazy things, and bot lanes can be very unique in what they're picking, I can actually see them be S tier for at least that part of it. Because one of the big problems they had during the regular season was they couldn't rely on the bot lane when other teams like Fnatic could. Or Misfits in the start, when Hans Sama was actually like playing a lot of carries, late game carries, and they got a bunch of wins of that. G2 struggled with that the entire regular season. So it might actually be a good thing for them if things change a lot around what is being played on the map. So there is a way for me where I can see. Also, there's a bunch of bruisers being used, obviously, for Wonder. And if Yanker's on a Master Yi, I'll take that. I'll be happy to see that. So I think G2 will be A tier on my list, but I could see them come out swinging really, really hard in the start. Yeah,
and from your perspective, Maxlore, do you agree that this meta seems good?
It's really hard to predict because
it's hard to predict. But, I mean, you have a little bit more scrim insight, not necessarily against G2, but you probably know more closely what the meta actually looks like. And then as well, do you think that like based on past performance, it's safe to rank them in A tier?
I think it's not so safe because I think they struggle to, and they showed it in playoff finals, they struggle to play around bot and like abuse the lead in bot lane to win the game. And I think that's still more of a meta, like it's still a better win condition than playing around top, which is, I think if it does switch to a carry top meta, it'll be really good for them because Wonder's like one of the best top laners in the EU and he's very smart about the game and all that. So as it stands, if the meta is not around top lane and more mid bot lane, I think that they should be same ranking as us.
But how important is the bot lane part if the games are over earlier and especially around the first Baron, and we're not waiting on the 3-4 item AD carry?
How do the games end earlier? Is it through mid lane or is it through bot lane?
Well, that's the thing. Do you have Master Yi Taric?
Yeah, but like that's, I think that's
do you have
kind
Graves? Do you have like...
Sure, that's kind of different, but you still, even with these strategies, you rely on your bot lane still to do a lot, and you still have to kind of communicate really well with each other. And I think, especially since there was a long break and their summer split performance in the finals wasn't good, it's not like they're just going to be better than they were before instantly, right? They would probably be even below what they were in the finals.
But if we take their summer split level and rank it within Europe, sure, that must be A tier then. Because, I mean, they looked okay during the regular season. They were more towards the top, and, playoffs, they go all the way to the final. Like, Would that not make them an A-tier team then, if we just say exact same level as Spring?
I mean, the thing is, now that I think about it, like if I have to think of an A-tier team, they would be, if we had to put like, this would look really ugly if there was only like one A-tier team, and I can only think of one other. So I think based on like the standards in the EU, they should be A-tier.
I think it's fair though if you think there's only one A-tier team. Like, I mean, that's interesting.
It would just look really.
The question is,
the graph would look really crap.
Let's hold G2. We know G2 is B-Ray, right? Let's talk. Who is that A-tier team for you, Max?
I think it's Splice.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'm okay with Splice, yeah.
I think Splice A-tier makes sense. I think as far as track record for improvement, that team has gotten better and better.
Yep.
Every week. They grew a ton in playoffs, taking down
Niski especially in playoffs.
Niski went from non-existent to destroying kids, which was super impressive, and I'm excited to see whether or not that's one best of 5 or if that remains a consistent trend. But yeah, I think if we put Splice safely in A.
And that's a team also in a potential innovative meta that I'm looking
with
at.
Xerxes.
With Xerxes especially.
Kasing.
In that, Kasing literally just played one style all split long, but sure, maybe now he has a lot of new things, who knows. But I'm definitely excited to see what Xerxes is going to play. I'm sure, Maxlore, you have seen some of the stuff maybe in practice, and it may be some crazy stuff, who knows. But the man found the Trundle last split, and then the world found Trundle right after him. And now that's already a good sign.
What's the next Trundle? Okay, so then the question becomes, is G2 on a comparable level to Splice, or do they need to be knocked down a tier?
I 100% understand what you're saying with it. I just think based on last split, and we have no insight into scrims and how the team have improved.
For sure.
I think G2 still deserves to be in A tier.
I agree, because I lack that scrim information. I think from an outside perspective, it's hard for me to imagine them. Like, if we take the spring performance as you're saying, I feel to me like they're going to be, let's say, a top 3, top 4 team in Europe from the get-go.
I haven't screened them yet, by the way.
Just to let you know.
Just basing it on, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, so to recap, as we get to our last 4 teams, S tier is Fnatic, A tier is currently shared by Splice and G2, B tier Misfits, C is empty, and D contains Giants and the Unicorns of Love.
Let's get Schalke in here, baby.
Schalke is a fun one. All right, Maurice, amazing, no longer Amazing X, Stuckenschneider, has left the EU LCS broadcasting.
Yes.
And has returned to professional play to join Schalke No Fear. Ooh, dramatic. What does it do, boys? Where do they rank? Because they were pretty disappointing last season.
It was bad. It was very bad. They released a video called Changes, I think yesterday, where they talked a little bit about how everything just fell apart, They were focusing on the wrong things, trust wasn't there anymore, and they needed someone with a strong voice.
And we know from working with
Maurice
Amazing, has a strong voice.
You can definitely always argue if he's right or wrong, but he has a very strong voice. He's very opinionated. He will tell you to do stuff. So Nubar said one specific thing that stood out to me in the video, and that was they're no longer looking to try and play perfect. They're just looking to try and do something, be proactive.
I like that.
That tells me that we might get a completely different Schalke, because they tried really hard to play like slow and like pretty League of Legends last split, and it didn't work.
Let me ask you this. If Maurice wasn't on the team, if nothing had changed, what would be your initial assumption for tier list?
Probably C tier.
I might even put him D.
They
did nothing. They lost so many games. One of their best weeks, their 80 carry wasn't playing.
That's fair.
They really, that team was a similar situation to me with, I think, Spring 2017 Vitality, where they just did nothing. Where
those games,
they just lost the game.
Also had Nubar and Vander.
Yeah, that's actually true. Interesting. But, I mean, to me, this team wasn't great. And so now the next question is, with Maurice coming in, with this vocal leadership,
your wisdom.
If we assume that vocal leadership is there and that is what Amazing is providing, you've played against this team. Do you think that makes Schalke more of a threat?
I think they were very similar to us last split. So, I mean, if you were to rank us B now, then I would say it's fair to rank them B too.
Really?
But then, do you put Vitality with Schalke and Misfits based on everything we've seen last split as well?
I mean, the thing is, they made playoffs. It's just a bit weird, isn't it?
Actually, they did lose so many games towards the end.
Yeah,
it actually did look a lot slower.
Well, they were 7-3, and then they went what?
They were on a 4-game lose streak until they actually beat Schalke, or loss streak.
There's 7-1 and then 3-7. I don't remember. We had a graphic at some point on broadcast, but their win record completely flopped for the second half of the season.
Yeah, it was really hard for them. It was interesting because in playoffs with Vitality specifically, Jizuke was playing Talia every game, and they tried to play a lot around Trubex, who's now called Attila. And it worked in some of the games, but in other games, they really couldn't get ahead that way. And then their late game was just not good.
No, it never was.
And it never improved. Now, obviously, Baron is a little bit easier to take in the case that it deals less damage to you, but there's still a lot of ways you can surely mess up around a Baron.
Like Smite.
So
maybe they put Smite on mid laner, and then there you go.
We've hit Vitality a little bit.
That was a really low-hanging one.
So Vitality and the Schalke are the two that I want to kind of bang out here. And the question is, are Schalke on the same level, or is Vitality on the same level as Misfits right now? Would you put the same level of expectation?
I definitely have Vitality on B tier.
All right.
Not below that at all. And I actually also have H2K in B tier, personally.
Before we get to H2K, because I want to hear a little bit more about that, Schalke, are we putting them in the same tier? That's my thing, is I feel like Schalke should be C until they prove something.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions around Amazing specifically.
Because it's not like he suddenly makes Upset hyper consistent. It's not like Nuke Duck instantly becomes super proactive. It's not like Chachi goes back to his former self. Maybe all those things happen immediately, but I'm not going to assume that just from some strong leadership that all those players suddenly become, at their peak.
I'm already excited for the split based on this because there's so many teams that I want to put towards the top, but I can't. And there's also the same teams I actually want to put towards the bottom because of last split, like Misfits and Schalke.
Give me Schalke. I want to lock it in. We got 2 more to bang through.
If we put them B, they're dead last in that B tier. I know we're not ranking the teams, but I think put them C with the question marks around Amazing specifically. Let's not just consider instantly that that's going to be a massive upgrade because we haven't even seen it on stage yet.
Yeah.
And Misfits haven't made changes a lot in getting Jesses, which I consider an upgrade because they still have Mickey as the starter.
All right, Schalke and C, I'm going to lock it. Recap before we lock it. So the last two are Rocket, H2K. D tier going up, Giants, Unicorns of Love. C is Schalke, Soul Possession. B is Misfits and Vitality. A is Splice and G2. S is Fnatic. 2 teams left, Deficio, H2K, in B tier is what you said.
I don't know
What's
if I'm
going on?
I don't know if I'm going to regret
Okay,
it.
look, they made a great run to get into playoffs. They did show a lot of improvement. Sheriff was getting much better, but
I really like Sheriff.
Misfits, Vitality, but H2K.
When you say Misfits, it kind of loses its power there.
The thing is, H2K did the Giants, but for the whole split, and they were actually better than Giants at doing the Giants.
But I like that.
You think that's going to work now?
I
mean, it might, but
it might actually do that.
But you're going to put them B tier just because they can play late game?
Am I putting Misfits
team?
B tier just based on me thinking that surely they can't do the same they did last split and things are now going to be fixed, but I haven't even seen it?
Okay, that's fair.
The thing for me with H2K is they showed, in my opinion, improvements. I think Shug was a great addition to the team. I think Sheriff got so much better, and Promise Q as well. I think the bot lane was very, very solid on that team, and Europe right now is not sitting with insanely strong bot lanes. So that can be a big deal for them, depending on what they end up playing. I don't think they're going to be the best team in Europe. I don't think they're going to be a top 4 team in Europe. But I think they are fighting for playoffs 100% the entire split long. And they are for sure a level above Giants and Unicorns of Love.
So C tier. They're a level. You didn't say they're 2 levels above Giants.
I'm okay losing this one 2 versus 1, but I think with Misfits being B tier.
The thing is, if you told me that H2K were going to continue to grow over the course of the split,
yeah, that's really hard.
Playoff contender, I'd be willing to believe you. If you told me that H2K from the start of the split are going to be going toe-to-toe with Misfits, Vitality.
I think they will.
I actually think they should be B tier.
I think
just
they should
thinking
be
about
B-tier.
it, more in depth now.
Okay.
I think also they were one of the teams who could actually play late game. Not just team fight late game, but actually understood.
For sure.
Setup.
That feels so weird to me, but okay. H2K and B tier.
They're actually pretty proactive in some of their games where they had to be proactive. So even though they go late game, Oh, that's your mic.
Keep talking.
Are you going to reel that up? Okay.
Whoops. That's some
shock effect.
Quality experience for the people watching
at drops the mic.
Can't take it.
So, we're currently 2 people saying HK B tier. Drakos, what do you say?
I still feel C tier, dude. I just don't. I want to believe that I believe in like the long term for sure that this team will get better over time and will be contesting the top teams, even top 5 potentially. But I just don't see it right now because like sure. They got to playoffs and that was pretty impressive, but also they like hard threw a couple games in their matchup versus Vitality. If I remember correctly, like Shook left
like
in
Vitality did, like Misfits did.
We did it every game, mate. Like, but you have to also keep in mind like.
Actually, yeah, you know what? Misfits are in B tier somehow.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
sure,
I'm saying.
So sure, all
There's
right.
no way I'm
H2K
putting
there.
Misfits B without
All right.
H2K there.
Roccat, last team, they looked pretty good.
That's C tier for me.
Decent sense of macro, C tier right off the bat.
See, this is the thing, right? You're saying that we're in B tier, right? And that's why you're putting H2K there. But we got perfect
Well, it's
game
not
by
the
Roccat.
only reason I'm putting them there.
Yeah, but
so I understand that. I just don't think I think Rocket coming into playoffs was far and away the weakest of the 6 teams.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think looking at Rocket over the split, I didn't feel the same kind of like, oh, big changes, big improvements. I think they have a lot of players who are just fairly solid, with Memento probably being the star player in my eyes. And he's also like the guy who they listen to, and he's the big leader. But to me, they lack punch, they lack star power. And I don't think they're going to change a lot. I think they're going to be a lot like they were in spring, where they just made playoffs towards the end. But if we are believing that Misfits will get better, which they should with the talent on that team, they overtake Rocket. And Rocket steps out of the top 6. And that's C tier for me then.
Yeah, I'm willing to agree. I think similar to H2K, where I believe that they can get better, that maybe there's players eventually could become top 10, but they're just not there for me right now. And I think the biggest difference is that Roccat, yes, had that abysmal playoffs performance, and we didn't. Sheriff had that star power, right? And that's what separates the 2 teams for me.
I think growth versus just being the same.
Yeah. Maxlore, anything you want to add?
Yeah,
C
sure.
tier, comfortable? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final
Such a biased list with Misfits there.
EUphoria preseason power ranking. For those of you at home who followed along, maybe you've written it down on a sheet of paper, good on you. For those of you who haven't, don't worry, I'll read it off to you now. S tier, Fnatic. A tier, Splice and G2. B tier is Misfits, Vitality, and H2K. C tier is Schalke and Roccat. D tier is Giants and Unicorns of Love. I look forward to this getting turned into a graphic and to people telling us we're idiots without actually listening to the context behind the decisions.
Can still tell us we're idiots after that.
honestly, if I was to make like my own graph, it would be exactly this, except Misfits as a wildcard team.
He would make a new category
the
just for
Joker
wildcard
one.
team.
Yeah, the Joker, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you guys can seriously go from D to S, I guess.
Yeah, we really can. It's crazy. I experienced it firsthand.
It's gonna be interesting.
All right, well, we're going to find out. Looking forward to week 1 of EU LCS. All right, good power rankings. Smooth. You like that?
Can't wait. By the way, we are upgrading for everyone tuning in very late into it. The set will get upgraded. There's a reason it says under construction.
We're going to leave it like this forever.
It's actually
keep the memes
it's a
coming.
new Berlin style.
Yeah.
So very modern.
I like it, the road work.
So the last segment I want to get to, guys, is Twitter questions, and I also just want to take a second to thank people who asked questions about Misfits or questions specifically about the patch. We talked about a lot of that stuff already, so those questions don't show up as much here, but thank you to everyone who submitted them. And I did take a lot of the trollier questions, so
Right.
we'll start with, this is a sample question just so you know how to answer. We're going to start with one that was specifically for Deficio. Deficio, how was it being a hot dog that one time, asks Parqueso at Parqueso Media.
That's great.
You're supposed to give an example for Maxlore so he knows how to answer the Twitter questions.
Oh,
What do you got
yes.
for me?
So first I chuckle and laugh.
Uncomfortably. Yes,
Thank you
good.
very much for the great question.
Lower the
first
voice,
of
I
all.
like it, okay.
It was very fun, but also really dumb in a lot of ways. I even actually stepped out in the arena too early because I thought Trevor was introducing us, and then Drakos and I ended up standing in the arena waiting for Trevor to get us on stage for at least a minute. Just standing there, people looking around.
He
being
literally
like,
heard
what on
him
earth
say
is happening?
Deficio, and he's like, it's time to go. He walked out.
So we messed that one up. But however, on stage, it was very fun. Sadly, we had to do it 45 minutes before the game started, so it wasn't full yet. If it was full and we did the wave, it would have been insane.
We got a pretty good wave.
We got a good wave in there. It was good.
I tried to keep up with the wave. I tried to run around in a circle with the wave very hard. Don't do it if
Try.
you ever become a mascot.
I gotta say, though, it feels good to be a hot dog.
Great.
I like the ending as well, the summary, yeah.
You got to summarize,
Yeah,
otherwise, long answers, you got to always summarize.
All right.
Okay.
Next question.
Oh, okay.
You guys can both answer this, but we'll start with Maxlore. Lampishu, once again, apologies if I mispronounce names, I'm going to do that. At Lampishu asks, if you could get one item back from past patches, what item would it be?
Purple Smite.
Hey, Harvester Smite or whatever, where you got 50% of the cooldown back if you like killed the camp or whatever?
No, it was like AoE,
AoE.
sustain on mana and health, smite damage, and it's stunned or something. I can't remember.
It stunned the camp. Yeah, it stunned the camp.
Like it was beautiful. Like you could just play anything you wanted and just smite.
I remember
just,
Diana Jungle with that era.
You'll just farm and just carry every game. It was so nice.
I'm saying, that was a good one, but I'm saying Oracle.
Oracle's Elixir?
When you bought it and if you died, it was lost. I have never in my life felt as important for 4 minutes, I believe it was 4 minutes, back in Season 3. When you bought it, you screamed to your team, because they were already arguing about dumb stuff, whatever. You were like, I got Oracle now, protect me. And you would run around and your entire team would like escort you around, killing Vision around Baron. And they would like jump in front of skill shots to save you. Because again, if you died and you lost it and the enemy team still had it, you would just like lose Vision and like the game was done. That was a great time to be a support.
Was it when the only thing you got to buy was wards and Oracle's Elixir?
The other part sucked a bit, but man, you felt important for a couple of minutes. That was great.
For me, I feel like I was going to say Atmos, but it's coming back.
It's coming back.
It's on PvE, baby.
Delayed, I think, now.
Yeah,
announced.
I'm not sure what the details are, but I know it's in the works. So that extra 8, the more tank items that let you do damage.
Was Atmos really that fun when we had it in the game?
Atmogs was a good time, dude.
Yeah, it was like, it's 4/5 item, you know, you would
Or
build.
Heart of Gold. Also, secondary, I miss Heart of Gold when it built out a cloth armor ruby crystal and you built 4 of them.
What about Leviathan?
Ooh.
Man, I never played in Season 1 and 2, so I don't know what you're
You didn't have
talking
the stacking HP, the Soul Stealer with HP instead of AP?
I kind
And
of
it gave you like
that.
damage reduction if you got it
I think we got like full stacks of it. Yeah, that was a really weird item because as a tank you were supposed to be in the front and technically sometimes give up your life, but you had an item that meant don't do it because you would lose your stacks.
Yeah.
So I guess no one really bought it in the end and they just deleted it.
All right, one last question from Katie at XKatieLicious. So she asks, what are your top 3 jungle champs? We're going to skip that part because we're out of time. Favorite skin, boys. Favorite League of Legends skin.
That's a rough one.
Oh,
This is supposed to be the quick one. What do you got for me? Favorite skin. What is
there's
the
a
skin?
lot of skins.
There are
many skins.
I love Scuba Gragas.
Scuba Gragas.
Old school.
Classic.
When you ran around with the old Gragas that had like insane AP ratios and everything. And
One-shot people.
You were Scuba Gragas. One shot. That one was great. Is it Gangsta Twitch?
Gangsta Twitch, Mafia Twitch, or whatever
Mafia
it's called.
Twitch, Gangsta Twitch.
All right, Maxlore, do you have anything? Alternatively, what's your favorite champion, and then what's the skin you'll always use on that champion?
But then
I
they're
really
two
want your
different.
favorite skin.
They're two different
I want
questions.
your favorite skin.
No, it's okay. So my favorite skin is Headhunt in Italy because when you abuse that skin, the enemies can't see the Qs, the spears. Unfortunately, I can't play on LCS, but that's the skin I use.
For good reason, I guess.
I use that skin to get rank 1. And now I don't use it for practice purpose.
I see, on an honest skin choice. All right,
Yeah.
oh, I like it.
It's like eye Blitzcrank where you can't see the hook properly.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just like,
this is one of the many small bug skins.
what's your favorite skin?
That's a really tough question.
You had like 2 minutes to think.
I really was too busy pressuring you, and now I'm really stuck.
We're short on time here, Drakos. Seriously.
I'm sorry. You know what? Pool Party Rek'Sai.
Oh my god.
I love Pool Party
Oh, because
Rek'Sai.
of the way when he ults?
Yeah, because it doesn't. Oh my god, it doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't do that? Oh yeah, because
It doesn't do it anymore. I miss old Pool Party Rek'Sai. That's what I miss. That's ultimately
That was pretty cool. when he
Yeah, that
ulted.
was-
the one. Because it was awful. Because it looked to me just so dumb. And ganking top lane when you're like, was like the worst. I loved it because it was so troll. It was worse than Pugma. Worse than dying to Pugma.
Oh, that's good.
All right, so that's going to do it for us for this episode. I just want to thank you again, Maxlore. Got a couple seconds left. There's a camera here for the first time.
It's so rough.
It is.
Touch it here.
Stop.
It's real beer.
Oh my
All right, this has
god.
been episode 1 of season 2 of EUphoria. Actually, I guess episode 15 of EUphoria. I don't know how we're separating
It's
this yet.
season 2, baby.
Season 2, episode 1 of EUphoria. We now have video. Our set is a work in progress. It's going to get updated over the weeks. You guys will get to see it. Maxlore, thank you for joining us. Good luck against your week 1 opponents. It'll be tough as a B-tier team facing an S-tier team.
Man, it's okay with the underdogs. I like that.
They're actually 5-0 versus Fnatic if you look at the last 5 times they played them.
So Fnatic are the underdogs for the first time in a long time in Europe. You can see that when you tune in for LCS this week. And of course, bets. You may notice that we didn't do one this week. We didn't want to put Maxlore under too much pressure since he has to play Fnatic.
And he didn't want to shave his beard.
And he didn't want to shave the beard. And I'll be honest, I don't want to shave my beard either. I've already bet that once this season. So let us know what you think we should do for bets. We have video now. It's a lot easier for us to resolve those bets. Send us your suggestions. You can tweet at me on Twitter, at Daniel Drakos, at Deficio Law, or at Law Esports with the hashtag EUphoria. You know, let us know what you got. We'll find them. We want good bet ideas. We're scouring the internet for great ideas. And after Sumo, we'll be honest, it's kind of hard to top ridiculous
And no more
bets.
tweets. Tweets is out.
Tweets is dead. We want real, all the time, live embarrassment, people. So let us know, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 2 of season 2 of EUphoria.